Hey guys, what is up? My name is Adelyn. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm super excited for is a wedding week Q&A. It's Tuesday and my wedding is on Saturday. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, I'm really excited. So I put a Q&A post on my stories on Instagram a couple days ago, and I'm going to be answering those questions you guys asked. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and this is probably going to be my last video before the wedding. So I hope you enjoy, but let's just go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so I got this question multiple times, and that is, what are you most excited for? I am most excited for the ceremony, honestly. Obviously marrying Damien, and that I feel like the ceremony is all about our marriage. And honestly, neither of us are really big like dancers. If you know me, I'm a really picky eater, so I'm not really like, oh my gosh, the food. I'm really just excited for the ceremony and just that moment, you know, before God, before our family and friends and all of our people there, just to marry Damien for our vow exchange, you know, for the walking down the aisle moment. I'm really excited. I'm absolutely obsessed with our venue, and it's a Victorian home, and it's like a 1800s mansion, and so I'm going to be walking out of those doors, down the steps and down the aisle, and I'm just so excited for that moment specifically. Just walking down the aisle to Damien, I feel like that's just something that every little girl dreams of for years and years, and so I'm really excited to walk down the aisle to him and just marry him and be pronounced man and wife. We've just been waiting for this for so long, and we're really, really excited for that. Obviously, the reception and all the fun things I'm excited for too. But specifically, the ceremony is really important to me, and just making that truly focused on Jesus and focused on, you know, us. It's not about pictures or whatever, all the things, you know, the music, the food. It's just about us and God, and that, you know, ceremony will be beautiful. So I'm really excited. We're going to have like this floral arch behind us, you know, all of our people, and he gets to see my dress, and I'm just super excited. Our venue is gorgeous, and so I'm just praying for a beautiful day, and so yeah, I'm really excited for that. The second most asked question that I got was, what are you most nervous for / anxious for? And honestly, as I'm thinking about it, I feel like I get like waves of like excitement and anxiety like up and down for the last like 2 weeks. I feel like there's not one thing necessarily that I'm like nervous or anxious for. I feel like it's just like the buildup of this moment. You plan a wedding. I've been planning for a year now. I've been planning this wedding, and so it's like time to execute the plans, and that's obviously a little nerve-wracking. I plan events for my job, and every time the day before, I'm always a little bit nervous. I'm just like, I hope this goes as I planned. Obviously, nothing is going to be completely perfect, but I just hope that this goes according to plan and that nothing goes wrong and it's not, you know, crazy or anything, you know. It's just like anxious about like it going well. But there's nothing specifically that I'm nervous for necessarily. I feel really ready and really excited. We have just the best support we could ask for all around us, like vendor-wise, family, friends, like so many people who are willing to help us with things in areas that we decided to cut costs on, that friends are jumping in to help with, and it's just been so sweet. So yeah, I'm not really anxious for anything specific. I feel like that moment right before you walk down the aisle is probably just like a little bit of anxiety, because we're not doing a first look either, so I'm really nervous but excited for that moment. So yeah, that's my answer to that question. Another question I got is, what pictures are you most excited for? Being a wedding photographer, I've had so many people be like, are you gonna take them yourself on a tripod? Or I'm like, oh my gosh. We have a really talented photography team coming, and I'm really excited about it. I just met with her last week, and she was like, I'm counting down the days until your wedding, because she's from England, and so our venue is very European, and so she just was like, I'm so excited. It kind of looks like stuff back home, and our venue is like my favorite thing. So I'm really excited about the pictures, because it's not like you have to force the pictures to look good, like, oh, we need to go somewhere else. Like, the venue is like stunning already, and then my dress is like super grand, and I feel like a lot of things about our wedding are kind of extra in different ways, but I'm like super here for it. I'm not trying to be that like minimalistic bride. Like, this wedding is like my fairy tale dreams as a kid coming true. And so I feel like the pictures is something I'm genuinely excited for, because it's the only thing after the wedding you really, besides the marriage, you know, the wedding day itself, you really get to keep, you know, and that's one of the only things. And so being a wedding photographer, I've done 25 weddings at this point, or a little bit over that. And so I've seen so many, and I'm like so excited for my pictures, because obviously I've done so many pictures, and I'm like, I just want it to be my turn. And so I'm really excited for the pictures. Specifically our couple shots. If I am answering what pictures are you most excited for, our couple shots at the venue, because it's stunning. And then I'm also really excited for all the little detail stuff, because a lot of times the bride and groom don't even see all the little details until they get their pictures back. And so I just love that stuff too. I love taking those photos of like the place setting, the flowers, you know, the little flat lay of like the shoes and the perfume and the rings and all that stuff. I really enjoy it. I'm excited for bridal party pictures. Those are always really cute. And I love my bridesmaid dresses that we all picked out are super cute. I also love like bridal portraits. I think those are stunning, and I'm really excited just because of my dress and everything. Like, I'm absolutely in love with the whole look, and so I'm excited to have like bridal pictures. Other than that, I think, yeah, reception pictures will be cool too. We're doing a choreographed first dance, and so I think that would be cool to have pictures of, especially because I can't really see how it looks, you know, because we're the ones doing it. So I'm excited for those. But yeah, honestly, everything. That's kind of dramatic, but I'm like literally everything. But number one would be couple photos, because those are the ones we're planning to hang in our house, and you know, those are the ones you treasure forever. So definitely excited for those. And I put 2 time slots for couple photos on our timeline just to make sure we get the ones that we want. So yeah. Okay, my next question that I got was, what is the hardest thing you've encountered while wedding planning? And I feel like, so I'm actually going to make a video, disclaimer, with Damien. I'm really excited. I planned it out already. Pros and cons of a long engagement. For me, a year is a long engagement. To some people, they're engaged for like 5 years. So they're like, a year, that's so short. To me, and I feel like people in my like circle and Christian community, a year is a long time to plan a wedding. And so I think the hardest part of wedding planning was that year. Length. I feel like 8 to 9 months is a sweet spot for sure. I think that this was just felt dragged out. So many people were like, watch, you're gonna get to your wedding week and be like, that flew by. And I'm sitting here today on my wedding week being like, absolutely not. This felt so long. And so that was one of the harder things, I think, is just, you know, it feeling dragged out and being excited for a year for something feels like a long time to wait. It's not like, oh my gosh, my birthday, you know, that's every year, you know when it's coming, but this is like, dang, I really waited a year for this. But I don't feel like anything particularly was hard to me. I think I'm super type A. I do this type of stuff for my job, spreadsheets and, you know, planning and all that stuff. So it was fun for me. But for some people, I know it could be a drag and I know it could be difficult. Like, for example, like our seating chart, I always heard people say that that's the worst part of it all. They're like, oh, the seating chart. But for me, like, I work in high school ministry, and so I'm used to like putting kids into cabins and stuff for summer camp. And so this wasn't really hard to me. It was like fun, and I'm like, oh, I get to pick out where everything goes. And we had a wedding planner too, which I know some people have day of and some people have wedding planner. We had both. So she's, you know, been with me through this whole time and will be there on the day of. So that made things a lot easier. I just don't feel like there was anything that was necessarily hard. I was expecting wedding dress shopping to be harder than it actually was. I think the vision for everything, because it was dragged out, and I'm going to talk about this more in the other video, I felt like I had a good vision in the beginning, and then I started to change things and second guess things because I had so long that I'm like, oh, I like that, I want to add that, and it kind of adds up. I think the budget was a little bit hard because there were certain things I would want to spend money on and certain things I wouldn't, and it's like, just kind of, the wedding industry is expensive. So there would be things I didn't want to spend money on, but you have to. And I'm like, I wish I could reallocate those funds to this instead, but I can't. Like, dress alterations were an unexpected cost that I did not know were going to be so high. And I wish I kind of would have known that before. Yeah, so just stuff like that. But I don't think there was one thing that was the hardest thing besides just how long it was. And it felt really dragged out. I felt like, you know, the excitement could only be so much because it's so far. It's like, yeah, I'm super excited, but it's also 8 months away. It's also 5 months away, you know, and it just kept feeling forever away. So excited that it's finally here because I'm very ready for it. The last question I'm going to answer today is, how did you find the perfect venue? And I felt like this question was funny because we only toured one venue in person. I fell in love with the venue and so did Damon, and we just did it. And I think a part of that, again, I'm going to talk about this in the other video, was because we had so long, it was so far away that we had priority pick on so many dates that we could pick from, especially in spring because this is peak wedding season. But the perfect venue, I feel like, is hard to find, honestly, because there's two types of venues. There's a build your own or an all-included. An all-included venue will be like 23, 24, 20,000, 15,000. That's my range, you know, that's all backwards. Like 15 to like 30,000 for an all-inclusive venue. So basically you get the venue for the day and it comes with the tables, the chairs, the linens, the decorations, the catering, the planner, the dance floor, the what else? Random stuff like that. It includes everything. Or you have a build your own where the venue is cheaper. It's like less than 10,000 and then you have to do everything else on top of it. And we went that route. And I really wanted that. I didn't want to be forced to pick certain things. When we were looking at all-inclusive venues, you were forced to use their photographer, their cake, and their cake is $1,000. I'm like, I don't want to pay $1,000 for cake. Like, it just didn't make sense for me, but some people love that. They love that they don't have to think about it. They don't have to find a cake vendor. They just already have it. They don't have to find a photographer. It's already included. So some people really like that route. I wanted the build your own route after I started. So I did a lot of online research. There's a website called Here Comes the Guide, and that was really helpful for finding venues. My venue actually wasn't on there, but it was really helpful for finding venues. I had another question that was how to find a cheap venue because it's outrageous, and I agree with you. It really is. It sucks that inflation is so high right now, and to be a bride 10 years ago versus now is just such a different ballpark. But yeah, so the Here Comes the Guide website had a lot of venues, especially me being in Southern California. There's venues everywhere and you can pick so many climates. There's beach, there's mountains, there's desert, there's city, and there's inland and wineries, and the options are super endless and have so much creativity. What I loved about Here Comes the Guide is that it would give you a price range so you could filter it. You could filter it very specifically, like I want a garden wedding, and it will show you venues with a garden wedding vibe to it. So I did a lot of searching on there. To answer your question, how did I find the perfect venue? It was so funny how I found our venue because my mom is, she homeschooled us when we were younger, and she does a lot of field trips because she runs like a program for homeschool kids. And she had been to this, I had actually been to this place before too, when I was like 15, but I didn't remember it. And so she does a lot of field trips and had been to this place before and was like, hey, I know you're interested in like the vintage vibe, as you could tell like from my channel that I'm really into that stuff. Do you remember this place we went to a long time ago? I think they do weddings, and the venue is beautiful. And I was so excited when she sent it to me. It's such a funny story, but she sent it to me and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot about this place. Like, I had never seen it in like a wedding vibe before. I had seen it as like more of a field trip vibe. And so when she sent it to me, I looked them up on Instagram and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so stunning. I want to go tour this venue like right away. So the next day I called and I was like, I want to set up a tour. Like, do you guys have tours available? And they're like, yeah, we have them for this week. And so I toured it and everything was really quick. Once my mom had sent it to me, I had sent an email that night that was like, I want to tour this place. And then I went to bed and I was like praying all night. I was like, God, I love this venue so much. Like, please let it work out. This is so beautiful. This is like exactly what I dreamed of. Like, please let the price range work. Like, please let everything, because this place is so stunning. I was like, it's probably going to be $1,000,000. Like, please just let it work out. And then they responded to me the next day, and then I set up a tour. We toured it, we fell in love with it, and literally booked it within a week. It was so quick. I got engaged May 6th, and I believe by May 30th, I had already booked it. So it was a pretty quick timeline from me looking at venues, finding this one, and booking it. And it was the first one we ever toured, but we were so set on it. We were like, this is incredible. The price range is great. They had a lot of open dates that we got to pick from, and that's why we picked May 6th, because We got engaged on May 6th of last year, and we're getting married on May 6th of this year. We're like, why not? That's so cool. But they had a lot of availability, and I noticed their website's a little bit older and they're not on Here Comes the Guide. And I feel like if they were, they would be a lot more packed and a lot more people would know about it. But it's honestly not one of those huge venues, and they are build your own, so they're not quite as popular. But I just absolutely loved the place. So that's how I found the perfect venue. My little story time was that my mom sent it to me, and I was like, yes, this has to be toured like ASAP. Like, this place is gorgeous. And I felt like I had this vision of what I wanted, and I would look on Here Comes the Guide and I would see stuff, but my vision was like always a little compromised. I'd be like, I really want this in a venue, and they would have everything except this. But this venue had everything and more that I dreamed of. So I was like over the moon excited, and I still am. I love this place, and they've been a little bit difficult to work with, but I still love it, and I still think it's super gorgeous and cannot wait to get married there. So that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is my last video before I am a married woman. It's crazy. My room is pretty empty and has some boxes over there. That's why I'm filming in this spot. It's super surreal, but I'm super excited to, get back and share with you guys. I'm probably going to post a lot of wedding videos, so just be prepared for the content. I'm probably going to post, pros and cons of being engaged, things I wish I knew, like tips and experience, and talking about our honeymoon and moving and all the things. I just love making these types of videos because I love watching these types of videos. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and thank you guys all for your sweet wishes that I've received and all the kindness and love. But I will see you guys in my next one. I hope you have a beautiful week, and as always, if you need prayer, my Instagram is open. But I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.